Today, we're gonna build an exhaust, which is always exciting. The exhaust on any motorcycle, custom motorcycle, is one of the prominent visual features. And it has the three main pillars of design for motorcycles, custom motorcycle design, or really any design. And that is line, shape, and proportion. If you get it right, it absolutely fits, and it looks amazing, whether you know why or not. It just works. And if you get it wrong, you may not even know why, but it's always gonna catch your eye. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, this is a single cylinder, which means one exhaust tube, which means it's gonna be really easy, but we gotta get the line exactly right. Now, this motor was designed in like mid-2000s, came out in 2008-ish, and it paid homage to the motor that was produced in India for 50 years before that, and that is this motorcycle. And I absolutely love the long, sweeping, flowing exhaust of this. It has kind of like a French curve or a Fibonacci curve. It's absolutely elegant, but I think while it works on this bike, it's a little bit too pronounced for this bike. The exhaust from the other one would have come way far out like this, and I think that's just too much. I want something a little bit in the middle. And I've been doing some thinking. While I like the tidiness of this one and the swoopiness of that one, I want that kind of a line, but I also want some structure to it. So I came up with this theory. 2 pieces of tubing, the primary stage, this is all gonna get trimmed up, but it's gonna come out of here and it has a constant radius right here. And then I'm gonna use the tubing bender to bend this piece of tubing for this piece down here. But for these straight sections, I'm going to hand bend with my muscles, not really. But first we have to start at the beginning. We have to start at the exhaust flange, which is basically this part, and I'm going to recreate that out of 304 stainless steel. That is the kind of stainless steel that's going to be used on this entire exhaust, and it's what's going to keep it looking uniform. So I started with 3 different pieces here. One size tubing, another size tubing that slips over it, and this circle piece. And I'm going to build up a bunch of weld on it that I can then put in a lathe, and I'm going to end up with a shape like this. Now this piece goes right in here. It's the beginning of our exhaust. This face fits against a crush gasket that's inside the port, and the inner diameter of this is the same as the inner diameter of the exhaust port itself. I also cut out this flange out of 1/4-inch steel that will go right on here, and that's the retaining system that's pretty much like the stock exhaust. Then comes the primary stage, and the inner diameter of this will fit directly over the outer diameter of this with a very snug fit, which basically makes this technically the second stage, meaning that the inner diameter, or the amount of airflow that you have, steps up from this diameter to this diameter, and then ultimately to a larger diameter in the second stage. So from now on, I'm going to call this the primary stage. So this long piece of tubing is going to be the majority of the length of the tubing of the exhaust. And in order to hand bend an exhaust, you have to fill it with sand, usually not sand, but like glass bead. Any kind of media will work fine. Finer the better. And then cap it at each end, and then heat it and bend it by hand. And what the sand inside will do will maintain the roundness, or the outer profile of the tubing, so that it doesn't kind of collapse. Like, think if you had a straw and you bent it, it's eventually gonna kink somewhere. And the sand will maintain pressure inside the tube, and it will keep it round all the way through. Now, when people hand bend exhaust, they're usually hand bending the entire exhaust, and they'll have like a jig or a layout. But as I explained what I'm trying to achieve, I want to have a constant radius in the primary and a constant radius in the secondary. The constant radius section is going to wrap around the front bottom of the motor, and I'm going to do that on the tubing bender. And then for the straight sections, I'm going to heat up and add a gradual curve in there. This is my plan, this is my idea, and we're going to see if it works out. But the interesting thing, or what I don't know if is right or wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway, is that I'm going to first pack it with sand, and then do the tubing bending. And the reason is, even though the dies of a tubing bender are meant to maintain the outer profile of the tube, there's always a little bit of deflection. And I'm gonna pack it first so that hopefully we minimize all that and we keep it as round as possible. Oh shit! It crumpled. It fucking crumpled. Somehow I knew this wasn't gonna work. So now this is basically a test piece. I'm going to heat, this is my first time doing this with stainless, so I'm gonna heat this up and see what the bending is like. Basically just kind of get a test run out of this. I can see how this is definitely an art form. And that touch is incredibly important. And there's a ripple in here where I bent it. This might take a few tries. So I just called the metal store to see if they have any more of this, and of course they don't. And I turned off the camera so I could scream at the wall some more. There's no reason why anybody should think that your first time doing something, you should get it perfectly. Everything's been going so smooth on this build, I guess I got used to that. Wrong. Anyway, I was also like, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to come out with this video in the time that I want. But then I measured how much room I have left here, and I realized that I might have enough to do it if I nail it perfectly. I also think it was a mistake to think that 065 stainless was going to stretch and shrink properly around the tubing dies, so I'm gonna have to bend this entire thing perfectly by hand. I'm prepared to not get it right, but I have enough to gain some experience with, so I may as well try, right? Now, the way that people hand bend stuff is they usually make kind of a template, usually out of rod. And so I'm going to bend this exactly by hand, how I think it needs to be, and then use that as a template to basically hold up against this while I'm bending and try and get it right. I've seen this done on the internet before. I've never done it. Nobody's done it in front of me, but we're gonna give it a try. So this bend is gonna be like a tapering off. Basically, it's gonna be a tighter radius closer to this side and less of a radius. Basically come pretty much straight out this way. You can just put a little bit of tension on this and you can feel it just give in once it reaches a certain temperature where it's gonna bend easily. So I'm putting just a little bit of pressure on it, and then once it's generally hot, I'm focusing temperature in one area, and then you see it start to bend in that area. It's just coming to that crucial temperature and then bending. Looking at this right now, and it's not really the curve that I want, at all. But it's metal. You can keep bending it and hopefully get this curve right. So I've added more bend here, I've added more bend here, and I took more bend out of here. And the shape is kind of changing on me. And then I referenced my design in 3D, and I realized there's a little bit more of a bend here, like an upsweep after this. And I don't have that referenced in here, but I might go ahead and start using that. I mean, the chances of me getting right are slim to none anyway, so I think I just want to get some practice. And we'll go from there. Well, I wonder if that's the welded seam. She sprung a leak. Fuck. I wonder if I'm supposed to be venting this. Clearly the air pressure built up with the heat, blew a hole in it. Dang.
The next day.
Well, I think I may have found a solution, but we're not going to get to that in this episode. I have found a company that does stainless steel mandrel bends, and they have a wide variety of radiuses. So I'm going to get something that fits my original concept design that has a constant radius right here. And they're going to leave a leg length on either side that is going to allow me to pack that with sand again and just do the gradual bends. So I'm not going super crazy on that. And I ordered 2 of them in case I mess them up. We'll get to that in the next episode. If it all works out, we're gonna see. And I will tag that company that will make that accommodation in the bend leg length. They have a bunch of different options. I spoke to a human, and we're gonna get to that in the next episode. In the meantime, I got my muffler from Cone Engineering. I normally go to them for all types of mandrel bends. They have all different kinds of things, and I really like the humans on the other end of that phone line as well. They just didn't have the bend radius that I wanted. Many thanks to Cone. I use them on all types of stuff. And thanks to this other company that's gonna accommodate me. We're gonna see if it works in the next attempt of this. But the next episode is going to be a shop tour. I did like a little poll on Instagram and what people want to see, because I had like a bunch of new followers on there, like 5x my following, which is cool. Appreciate you guys following along. And so yeah, next week we're going to do a shop tour. So I better start cleaning this mess up.